Last week, we started our series, 3 Ways to Sit with a Feeling Until the Insight Tumbles Out. And if you haven't already, you should check out the introduction to that series as well as way number 1. Those 2 articles are linked above. And like I told you in the introduction, I like to think of feelings as eggs. Just like an egg contains an unhatched chick, every feeling contains within it an unarticulated insight. And your job is to incubate the feeling's egg until the insight hatches out. And you can do this with the feeling that you're currently feeling. That's what way number 1 was all about. Or you can also do this with the feeling that you want to feel. That is what way number 2 is all about. So here is way number 2 to sit with a feeling until the insight tumbles out. It is juxtapose the feeling that you want plus the situation that you have, and let your brain fill in the gap. Here's a step-by-step breakdown of exactly how you do this. Step number 1, how do you want to feel? Take your time to identify how you want to feel. And I want you to go beyond happy or good. Do you want to feel purposeful, capable, powerful, free? Maybe you even want to feel neutral, or playful, or brave, or curious. And if you're not sure exactly how to label the feeling that you want to feel, I want you to check out an amazing resource called the Feelings Wheel. Just go to feelingswheel.com and take a look at the massive word bank of feelings that they have there. But that's step number 1, identify how you want to feel. Step number 2, what physical sensations and movements does that emotion create in your body? So every emotion that you feel also creates physical sensations in your body. We literally feel our feelings in our bodies. And our emotional experience is so closely tied to our physical experience that the English language uses the same word for both things. We call both of those things feelings, right? You can feel an emotion, but you can also feel a physical sensation. And so as you read the different emotion words or emotion labels on the feelings wheel, you can probably feel a little microdose of the physical sensations that each emotion creates in you. Let's try it right now. Amazed, confused, aggressive, guilty. Pay attention to your body as I say those words, and you'll notice that each emotion word or emotion label creates a slightly different physical sensation in your body because every emotion creates physical sensations. So here's what I want you to do. For the emotion that you want to feel, for the emotion that you picked in step number 1, hold that emotion word in your mind and then really notice the physical sensations and movements that it creates in your body. You can even exaggerate those sensations and those movements and kind of make them big just so you can really notice them. For example, for me, aggressive makes me clench my teeth, it makes me frown, it makes me lean forward in my chair, and I feel a sensation of pressure in my chest. Versus amazed makes me relax my mouth, soften my eyebrows, sit back in my chair, look upward, and I feel like a warm, settled sensation in my chest and my shoulders. So really let that emotion word, right? The emotion you want to feel, let that word land for you. Let it sink into your brain, hold it in your mind the same way you would hold a piece of hard candy in your mouth. And then notice the physical sensations and movements that it creates in your body. Really notice the physical impression of that emotion in your body. Make it big, exaggerate it, as if you were miming the emotion to someone else, just so you can really observe what it is. This is your physical bookmark for that emotion. This is how you find the emotion again, if you need it, because your brain associates that physical sensation and movement with that emotional experience very, very closely. So if you can find the physical sensation and movement again, you can find the emotion again. Step number 3, look at the situation in front of you while holding the emotion word in your mind and holding that emotion's physical sensations in your body. Let's work through an example. Let's say that your to-do list usually makes you feel overwhelmed, but you would like to feel capable. So that's step 1. You've identified the feeling you want to feel, and the feeling you want to feel is capable. Then you've also identified the physical sensations and movements that your brain associates with the emotion of capable. That was step 2. Maybe capable makes you sit up straight, focus your eyes, and you feel a sensation of groundedness in your core. That's your physical bookmark for that emotion. Now, step 3, look at your to-do list while holding the word capable in your mind and holding those physical sensations in your body. And when I say holding those physical sensations in your body, think of like you were in a workout class and the trainer told you, do that lunge again, but this time engage your core while you do the lunge. Hold those physical sensations in your body is exactly like engage your core while you do that lunge. Except instead of engaging your core, you're engaging those physical sensations that you bookmarked in step 2. And then once you're looking at the circumstance in front of you, while you're holding the emotion that you want to feel in your brain and in your body, then I want you to just wait and let your brain fill in the gap. Because what you are doing here is you're creating a surprising juxtaposition for your brain. Your brain is very used to looking at your to-do list and feeling overwhelmed, but you are creating a new juxtaposition. You're looking at the exact same to-do list, but you're juxtaposing it with the word capable in your mind and with the physical sensations that your brain associates with the emotion of capable in your body. And when your brain is faced with a surprising juxtaposition, it has to create new thoughts in order to make sense of it. So when you hold that juxtaposition, your brain will come up with new ideas for how to handle your to-do list. It will come up with a new perspective that you hadn't seen before. Your brain will say, well, hang on, let's just move these things to tomorrow and then focus on these things today. Okay, that works. Or your brain might say, wait, what if we use that meeting to just get their input and brainstorm with them, and then we don't have to prepare as many materials? Or maybe your brain will say, you know what, there's a quick and dirty way to get this initiative started. Let's just make a list of bullets and email it over to them and just get the conversation going, and we can make the whole detailed presentation later. So take your time. Your brain may not fill in the gap instantaneously, but just wait, just hold the juxtaposition and let your brain figure it out. Because when you juxtapose the feeling you want with the circumstances that you have, your brain has no choice but to fill in the gap. Your brain will start generating new solutions, new perspectives, new creative path forward on its own, just because it's trying to make this juxtaposition make sense. So keep the circumstance in front of you while holding the emotion word in your mind and holding those physical sensations in your body, and let your brain fill in the gap. This is the technique that I've actually been using the most these days. The emotions that I want to feel are helpful, connected, and generative. And I know generative is like not really an emotion, but in my mind, it's this combination of powerful plus creative. And all day long, I hold one of these emotions in my mind and in my body while I look at the situation in front of me. So if I'm at an awkward gathering where I feel like I don't really know anyone and I feel pretty out of place, I hold connection in my mind and I hold those physical sensations in my body and I let my brain fill in the gap. And suddenly, my brain has ideas for how I can connect with the people around me. Or if I'm talking to someone and I want to tell them that they could really benefit from coaching, but I don't want to be pushy or salesy, I hold the word helpful in my mind and those physical sensations in my body, and I let my brain fill in the gap. And suddenly, my brain has ideas for how I can say what I want to say. Or let's say, literally just a couple hours ago, I was staring at the blank screen. I was wondering what the heck I was going to write for today, what video I was going to make, and I was not feeling inspired at all. I held the word generative in my mind and the associated physical sensations in my body, and I let my brain fill in the gap. And suddenly, I had a bunch of ideas for how I wanted to write this piece. I love this technique because it is so simple and so lightweight. You don't have to refer to a 50-page manual in order to implement it. You don't have to do a lot of extra work or put in a lot of conscious effort. You just have to hold the juxtaposition and let your brain do the rest. Identify the emotion you want to feel, find the physical sensations that your brain associates with that emotion, and then juxtapose the circumstances in front of you with that emotion and that sensation. And your brain will do the rest of the work for you. And if you run into any trouble doing this, I want you to come talk to me. Coaching is about building a strong, fun, trusting partnership with your own brain. And my articles and my videos, they give you one technique at a time for doing this. But when you work with me, I give you the whole toolbox all at once. And most importantly, I work with you one-on-one to help you actually implement that toolbox. And by the time we're done, you and your brain will have become partners and friends. And you will, almost as a byproduct of that strong working relationship with your brain, you will end up creating the life that you actually want. So let's start today. The link to book a free consult call is above.